Hello friends, welcome back to Harmony's Ice Closet. It's Mary here. I know it's been a little while, but I'm really excited that you're back with me again. I took about 2 months off from YouTube and not completely off from sewing, but we had some super exciting things happening. I don't know if you can see in the background here, there's a little sash. It says Miss Pennsylvania Belle and there's a crown right above it there. So I had to take a couple weeks off because my daughter had the opportunity to be a belle in the Miss Pennsylvania pageant. That took up a lot of our time, as well as I had a huge vacation planned for her birthday, and we just had a lot of like weird little random projects, like a Sweet 16 dress for a Great Gatsby party and stuff, and life has been a whirlwind and I haven't really had time to record. So my apologies for that, but we're back now. And the first thing that I'm going to start with is this office really needs to be tiled in. I mean, holy smokes, it is a mess. So bear with me for a minute and let's just get some of this chaos together, okay? So I've cleaned my office a decent amount. It's completely not perfect. I can't even close the closet all the way. There's a pile of fabric probably up to my shoulders. If I open that right now, it's all just gonna come tumbling out. But I can walk the perimeter of my table now, and I can open my door and go in and out. So that is an improvement, seriously. I have, I think right now, 12 figure skating dresses to make and one very exciting costume that I will probably release a video of later, because you know I'm someone that's like, I don't like to talk about my plans until after they're done. The coach and I chose the color for the skater because the coach was watching the new Pope on TV and it was this really pretty rosebud color. Let me see if I can grab it really quick for you. So this is the rosebud color. I'll try to insert a picture of the Pope like right here. That's what inspired this. She was watching him on the news or something and she was like, oh my God, I want that color for this skater. So she came running to me and I found it. And then we also picked like this pretty purple. It's Spring Fairy from Blue Moon. That will be the accent color on her arms and everything. As is normal for me, I am using the Jalie Tessa figure skating dress pattern as the base for this costume, and I'm using the exam table paper to trace my pattern. In the past, people have commented and they've recommended that I use Pellon or something else more permanent, but I really like using the exam table paper because every pattern that I make is so unique to the skater, and it just makes it easier for me to hack it. And by hack, I mean to like make it exactly what shapes and cutouts and everything else that I want it to be. Here's just a little close-up of me tracing, just so that you guys can see. If you've never used a Jalie pattern before, they're really great. They are very inclusive for sizes, and they're very easy to follow. All the lines are different colors. I don't know. I love working with Jalie patterns more than any other patterns I've used. I know I say this every single time, but I promise you I am using a specific rotary cutter just for cutting this paper out. I don't ever use the same rotary cutter as I do for my fabrics. I promise you. And you can actually see in the like little scribbles in the top middle there where I was hacking the pattern so that I could make it exactly what I wanted it to be. The Jalie Tessa back as a standard is like really low, and I find that a lot of my skaters don't really like that low open back. So I will make it a higher neck and adjust the elastic later as well for them. I think a lot of my skaters are younger and they just don't want to show actual skin. And there's also rules in figure skating too that only so much of a skater's skin should be showing. I can't remember what the exact percentage is, so I can't quote anything to you, but I know that judges like it when they're covered. Even if it's skin tone mesh, they prefer that over them just being bare. I've actually been having this little bit of a mental debate with myself lately. I don't know if I prefer to make long sleeve dresses or if I prefer to make tank dresses. When I make the long sleeve dresses, I use a lot more fabric, obviously, and a lot of my girls like the finger loop on the end too, so it probably works out to like the same amount of work as a tank top dress, but for some reason the tank top dress feels like more work to me. I don't know. Have any of you made any dresses? Do you have an opinion on that? Am I just crazy? And here I am cutting out my fabric, and I will tell you that I started to notice that my fabric rotary cutter, the blade is getting a little dull, but I'm not always like a huge fan of switching it out when I use lighter fabrics because sometimes there's like that little bit of grease or oil or something on them, and I was like, I'm not about to change my blade out right now with this light purple, so I struggled through it. If you notice too, I have these like cute little button weights that I'm always getting out of the little green case there that I use. But I actually read somewhere recently, someone was using like soup cans or something to hold it down. I actually kind of thought that was brilliant to just use like what's around you. But I really like the weight and like the small size of these button painted pattern weights. I think I got them on Amazon. I think they were a little bit expensive for what they were. And I think somebody else actually told me that they used big washers that they got at the hardware store too. Do you know what I mean by washers? I don't know if I'm actually calling it the right thing. I don't know. I sew. I don't use washers or screws or nuts or bolts or anything. Just in case any of you want to see how much I paid for them or buy those cute little button weights, I'll put those in the description as well for you. This is the shiny fabric, the shiny rosebud fabric from bluemoonfabrics.com. I will definitely link it for you if you wanted to go look at it. I have this irrational fear that shiny fabrics, the stones are going to fall off of, which, like I said, it's irrational. It's never happened to me before, but for some reason that just lives rent-free in my head. I have never had it happen, by the way. Like I said, irrational. And now I'm adding the cups to the costume. I used to use my actual mannequin. I have a couple different size mannequins, as you see in the background in the beginning of the video, and I would use them so that I could place the bra cups in the correct place. But I feel like over time I've just gotten used to like where they actually go, so I don't necessarily feel like I need to do that anymore. But I do usually just like hold it up to it and make sure that it's in a reasonable place for bra cups to be, and it always works out for me now. And I just like to point out that I used the clips before when I was putting together the underwear portion of the dress, but now I'm using the needles for the bra cups and I'm using the needles for the layering of the fabrics here. And that's just because I feel like there's a time and a place for clips, and I use them because they're quicker. I don't prick myself on them as much, and it's more secure for me in some ways than others. Like here, I'm going to use them for the skirt, but when I want like more exact or I need like less room taken up when I'm pinning things together, I'll use the metal pins. I've never really seen people use like both of them at once in a video, so I don't know if that's just like a me thing, but I'm definitely more comfortable using clips on sides and edges instead of detail work. You'll notice as I'm making this dress that it's a little bit more simple than some of my past dresses, and some of my dresses are more complicated. It's all about the skater, what their preferences are, what their music is, what our goals are for them. We're accentuating certain body parts for them. Sometimes we want their arms to stand out more. Sometimes we want their waist to stand out more. So there's a lot of thought that goes into exactly what the dress looks like for every skater. And while I do really enjoy making all custom dresses right now, I do hope that in the future I will have some already made dresses that are just fun and funky that I can list on my website just for people to be able to buy and say, hey, that's my size. I really love it. That's perfect for my music. And, you know, that'll be another avenue of income for me when I'm doing this full time in the future. But right now, while I'm still working and driving Harmony back and forth to the ice rink all the time, and I'm doing this part-time, it's enough just to do the customs. Everybody keeps me busy. I'm very, very, very blessed to have friends and rink family who want to keep working with me and who want my designs. For anyone who is here for the first time, right now what I'm doing is I'm sewing on the elastic. I make a little loop and then I line them up on the fabric. You can see here I start in one place and then I stretch it so that it's exactly the same length across, and then I do it again so that it's separated into 4, and that keeps the elastic from bunching up too much. I don't know if you've ever seen like clothes with elastic in the neckline or in the armholes or the leg holes, where it just looks really bunched in one spot, but then it's like smooth in another. So doing it like this helps me to stay consistent in how stretched out the elastic and the fabric is at the same time. Just keeps it consistent, keeps it smooth, makes it look really neat and professional. And here's a little bit of a closer up video of me doing this. When I do the elastic, I'm doing it on the wrong side. I'm attaching it to, obviously, and I'm going down that whole line. And I like to keep it as close to the edge as I can while still seeing a tiny little bit of the color poke through. And I just want it to be neat and consistent. I know I'm probably saying consistent a lot. But consistency is key, right? Once I am done with that first round of zigzags to attach that elastic, I fold it over just like you saw me do right there, and then I go around again, and that hides the elastic throughout the whole costume. So now you're not going to see like the white sticking out. This part is actually kind of satisfying to me. I know I always say it, but getting the underwear portion of the dress done always makes me really happy because it starts to feel like a real piece of clothing. I'm just adding a little bit of like a darker shade of the same color to add some definition to it, some dimension, you know, just to make it so that it's not one flat color. I really just took the same fabric paint as I usually use. I can't even remember what it's called right now, but I'll link it in the description for you. But I'm just using that same paint. I added a little bit of black to a color that matched the purple pretty well, mixed it with some distilled water, put it in my airbrush, and I'm just doing this one layer there, just so that when I stone it, it's not all just flat. I like to use my Dyson to heat set it. I just put my hair dryer on the hottest setting and I blow right onto the dress and dry it. I know some people, they like to use like a heat press or an iron or even like using the dryer, but I just find this works best for me. And when it's time to rhinestone the costume, I tend to go downstairs and sit down with Harmony and watch a movie while I rhinestone. It just helps me pass the time a little bit because it can be a little bit tedious, although I do love to rhinestone very much. It just takes me like 4 hours to rhinestone a costume, so I like to have some sort of entertainment. And as an added bonus, I get to spend time with my daughter while I do it. And just a reminder to anybody using E6000, please use an N95 and run an air filter in that room so that nobody's breathing in all those nasty chemicals all the time. I don't make Harmony wear one if she's like 20 feet away from me on the other side of the living room or anything. I'm using it because I'm right over top of it, but I do run the fan and the air filter at the same time for her. And I'm just using tinfoil underneath the skirt there because it was a double layer of mesh and I don't want that E6000 to seep through to the second layer. There she is, all ready to be videotaped and taken pictures of and sent previews to the new owner. So I know it was a super short video, but I'm already done with the dress. Don't mind the no makeup, no hair. I literally spent every waking minute today getting this done. You can kind of see how sparkly it is already. There's not even like a spotlight on it. I absolutely love this jewel tone with the crystal ABs. I'm so excited to see it on the skater. I could throw on a spotlight really quick for you. I know I have like the hardest time getting crystals to really shine on camera, so if you're watching this and you have some tips for me, let me know. I have these photography lights here that you can see, the studio lights. They were a gift a few years ago, but if you have any recommendations for anything, like, I'm totally game for it as always. I can see if I can find those for anyone interested and link them in the bio as well. But yeah, so really excited that I'm finally fully back into it. 6 weeks feels like forever, even though it's really not. So I will be making some more videos. I hope to see you again soon. Bye guys.